Let's jump into Tesla because I'm sure people watching and listening are, antsy to hear more about that. Especially your Sandy Munro interview, because that's kind of what I want to dive into, because there was so much amazing information there. And, just for a little background, like, how would you describe Sandy Munro? And like,
He's a good old boy. He is a good old Midwestern boy, very approachable, very friendly. Like, he's not off-putting one bit. I mean, we sat down. He's the CEO of a pretty important company that's analyzing and providing consulting for the largest companies around the globe, not only in automotive but in aerospace, defense, technology, software. So he's a pretty big freaking deal. And you would never know, like, if you didn't read his rap sheet, his experience, you would never know that he's doing some of the things that he's doing. So he knows a lot about a lot. Um,
like,
Super nice
why
guy.
should people who are analyzing Tesla give a shit what he thinks?
I see a lot of people criticizing his approach, saying that it's old school, that it's not new school Tesla. But I think that they're making a big mistake by discounting him and discrediting him. He's had over 30 or 40 years of experience in engineering. He's an engineer, so he understands at a very fundamental level how things work, and that's just that's their thing. I mean, some companies actually hire them to design things like airplanes and rockets and crazy military type stuff. So I think it's foolish to discount the expertise and knowledge that Sandy and his team have just in general. But when it comes to electric vehicles, they have now torn down at least 4 electric vehicles that I know of, and maybe more that they haven't mentioned. So they've got a pretty good understanding about how they work.
Yeah, and not even electric vehicles. Like, I was kind of playing devil's advocate to make a joke about, like, like, they're in the business of tearing down every single car. The most important car, they tear it down. They sell that information to every other car company. So they're seeing the under the hood of how it's built, of how much it costs, of how that's changing over the years for every single automaker. I mean, they almost have better insight into the entire auto industry than any single automaker, because they're like the sort of Switzerland working with all of them. I mean, I don't think people understand how much they should be paying attention to what Sandy Munro says, because every, like, even little hint of this and that is such an interesting clue into the minds of the executives of all these other car companies. Why didn't they fully invest into EVs? Why did they buy this battery that's off the shelf? He's kind of got some key insight.